We are the first production restaking the shared security protocol.
Let's talk about Symbiotic and restaking. Assume everyone around you has no idea about shared security or restaking. Explain what restaking is, how was it originated, and what was the need of it, and shared security, what does it mean, and explain it to us like we're 5 years old.
Redundancy is bad, redundancy is hard, redundancy is suboptimal. You want to have everything on one server. One server that you control, one server that's located somewhere safe, and probably that has one big backup. That's the redundant. But if we had that, some judge in some like Georgia or something would just write one border, and the Bitcoin would never happen. And we would never happen. Like also, none of the crypto like startups would ever happen. Didn't happen that way because Bitcoin was unstoppable. There is no one point of failure. Nobody can just stop you from validating blocks. As long as we have enough miners, Bitcoin will survive. Same as for Ethereum. As long as we have enough stake operating and we have consensus, but Ethereum is gonna survive. So how do we help people to stay decentralized and make it interesting for them? Because they're going suboptimal. They have multiple servers doing the work of like that one server will do better. Just the unstoppability of it is motivation. But let's create more, make decentralization cheaper. How do we do that? We will use restaking. What restaking does is let you use the same stake multiple times. So you don't have to pay as much. And so if you're locking up the asset that you want to lock for one network, you need to pay 100%. You need to pay 10% APR for users to be interested in that, or like 5% APR. If you use a restaking, you can pay 2%, 1%. In restake 5 times and you get the same 5%.
Can you explain that with an example so it becomes easier for people to visualize?
Yeah. Just imagine you have Oracle network, Interop, FHE network, and like Eigen network. If they launched separately, each one of those needed to acquire some form of token or create some form of token and pay, so dilute it and create a sales pressure for that to launch decentralized, to pay operators for operating and stakers for staking. If they use restaking, they need to pay the fifth of that. So their sales pressure for their token at launch is 5 times less. This is the price, the capital optimization part here. But the other interesting part that goes way beyond optimization, if you can launch faster, because for you to create your own economic base, you need to create foundation somewhere like or on the mail. For this foundation, you need to issue tokens. You need to like list those tokens somewhere. You need to pay market makers and like to do the liquidity provision things. So like this sort of whole negotiation and like launch of token, it takes months, if not years, for some companies. You can do that immediately with shared security. You don't have to have a huge economic base for a token. Just reuse somebody else's. Be that Ethereum, be that Coin, be that Uni tokens or like Arbitrum tokens, Optimism tokens, or any other widespread tokens that are going to be stable enough for you to use. Just imagine you're in the bull market, you want to test the traction for your protocol. You can start 6 to 16 months faster. You don't have to. And then you can launch a token even afterwards. You can work with like points or like any other model. And then when the time comes, but you already tested traction, you already onboard billions of dollars because you have billions of economic security. After a while, you can launch a token, you can go through all of the steps again. And you're going to be in completely different spot when you actually launch your token. Because you already have traction, you don't have to convince like as much people as much, because you already validated your product market fit. In every step of this decentralization journey, shared security tries to mitigate the drawbacks of decentralization. See, it's even easier for you it's faster to launch. Again, you still have to pay for that, but you're gonna pay less. And like the last part of it is make sure it's easy to get the best operator set for your network. It's easy to get frameworks, SDK, helpers to launch your decentralized network. The journey is easier because before, now like it was semi-independent. Each network decentralized in its own way. It talked to operators got experience, but it was internal expertise. It was not like expertise that were like getting out a lot. So everyone goes through this tedious journey of a year and a half. Most people do it incorrectly first, and then they try to figure it out. If they get product market hit, they try to fix their allocation, delegation model. It takes a lot, and a lot of people and what we fight against in shared security is they get, oh, I'm gonna start centralized. I'll figure something out. Yeah, like I'll start centralized. It sends a really bad message to the industry.
Right.
Every huge protocol that starts centralized sends the message that it is normal, which is not. You are destroying the value proposition of crypto. If we are centralized, our UX is going to be always worse than centralized solutions.
Right.
And what they're going to be fighting, like they have like centralization in bank, and your optimization is not going to be so great, and you're going to be easily closed within seconds. Just one Hancock, and like at some point, police comes to one person, 3 person, and your protocol is done.
Okay, you've used a bunch of terms, operators, networks, right? Let's understand the architecture of Symbiotic here so that you can explain these terms better. And the base layer, you have networks, and then you have resolvers, operators, right? Curators come in somewhere, then you have vaults, right? Can you break down these terms in the architecture in general?
In terms of architecture, the goal of shared security protocols is you have operators running your software, validating transactions, or providing price speeds, or doing other stuff, consensus or not. You have stakers that provide stake that risks and creates a gating mechanism for onboarding operators. I'm a set of decentralized network or network that is trying to decentralize. Network has conditions to onboard operators and stakers. Stakers provide their stake to pretty set of networks. So each one of them agrees on the mode of work. I'll do this and I'm getting slashed. I'll do this and I'm getting reward. And I onboard here, and my work is to provide this. So reward and punishment and stake and lockup periods are once agreed upon. Our job is to make sure that like happens as agreed.
Right.
So it's really simple. Once the agreement is reached, and like really simple but powerful, because the way Symbiotic is created, because we don't do as much, and we provide the good solution for that, but it's not specified. You can do whatever you want as long as relationship are consensual. Like any mode of communication is possible, and main agreement is possible. And like this is the design decision that goes everywhere from the business side to the technical side, perfectly aligned with everyone. Some protocols need the reward model to be not on Ethereum. Some networks want tokens from non-Ethereum, non-EVM chains. Symbiotic work with that. Any token on almost any chain can be used without need to transport it to Ethereum at all. The reward model can be somewhere else as well. Just need to agree upon it before. So yeah, infinite alignment and easy responsibility to have. Network can be anything, operator can be anything, Oracle, Eigen network, threshold network, execution network. The more interesting use cases you have, the more you're gonna be successful in the mission that I described before. Like you need to provide more stimuli to what's decentralized. And the more networks you have, the more primitives you have launched. For every new network that comes to you, and they're like, we are threshold operated ZK Oracle options network. And you're like, we have all of those here. And they're, oh, great, we don't have to develop as much. We have already solution to be inspired by. Some networks launching with us are creating their middleware to be open source, so MIT. Every next network is going to be launching faster. Right, that's the point of shared security. Right. It's not only about tokens, it's about knowledge that are shared.
For example, let's say Capex is an agent network where we're a project which is trying to become a decentralized network. Now we have stakers who will stake their assets. And here the beautiful part is that they're flexible to use whichever asset or token they can. They stake it using operators, right? Now these operators are responsible for performing predetermined tasks. If they don't do it correctly, they get slashed, right? Now one thing that we haven't touched upon, which is a very important aspect as well, is awards, right? So do you want to explain that concept?
What is the accounting and delegation module? It has information about where the stake is allocated. It can be allocated to 5 or to 10 networks to train. Each stream of stake comes through resolver. It can come through resolver, so it comes usually through resolver and connects to network and their own operated SEP. And then network sees that, okay, this stake is connected to me with this operator set and selects the operator that it wants to be operated. It's a simple accounting mechanism and permission mechanism. When you allocate to network, some vaults can be like 10 allocate to 1,000. Some can be like really conservative and allocate to 5. So you have just the delegation model for a stake, just the management accounts module for them to be connected to networks. Yeah, like the resolvers I mentioned, those are Tamitis algorithms, Hoover networks or something like that. That basically balls at the last line of defense here for the slashing message to get through. So when like network sends a slashing message, that might be the last authority to arbitrate, to say no, it's not valid or it's valid to prove something.
Within the first 3 weeks, you were able to get a massive 1 billion PVL.
We like to be called shared security. Eigen layer now wants to be called that as well. I don't consider them to be a competition. I mean, would you consider the guy that has infinitely small portion, like 0.001%, to be your competition, or the whole ocean there? We are not in the business of writing empty white papers.
You announced your seed raise, and it was like a $5.8 million raise with Paradigm and Cyberfund. It was the internal statement team that was allocated to Symbiotic.
Yeah, we fired them.
Okay.